show coming from the RAC store. With this back in the Mac in the back flow. Let's go, chillin' with raccoons by the back door. Take calls so you can stake more. All I wanna do is making dough, right? But I found this crew and doing alright. We RAC will bitch, ready to fight. So many raccoons ready for the boss life. I might fly high like a kite, right? But always ready for a shite for the right price. Raccoon supply has the right price. Giving you respect if it's likewise. So I'm buying all the mean guys with the clean heart. Read between lies, laser beam through lean eyes. Warrior with clean lies, trash mouth, mean smile, be wise. NFT wise, fuck with these guys. It's the RAC lab from the back lab. 110 of these in my backpack. Crazy RAC lab from the stash app. RAC will take a lead in this haystack.
RAC FM. Today is Thursday, the 25th of May, 2023. I'm Finn, your announcer and co-host on this one. We got Jared, we got Zion from Terraform Labs, TFL. Very exciting. Twitter has been a giant pile of shit the last few days, so we'll see how this goes. Robo, over to you.
Fingers crossed, guys. The space, we've just unrugged it with a bit of luck.
Minute 50 in, off to a promising start.
So, Jared, back to you. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Howdy, thanks for having me.
Oh, dude, it's a pleasure after all of this time. And the title is quite ironic. That was Bruce, not me. Unfortunately, Bruce is not with us today. But yeah, I remember at the time, like, Station was just going crazy. The IBC connectivity, and it was a great time. But actually now we're kind of further down the road or roadmap. This alliance, like I say, Station, Feather kind of trifecta coming out. It's amazing. So what a great time to have you on, Jared. Yeah, and thank you very much for being here, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So you don't spend a lot of time on Twitter, Jared, yeah, I've noticed.
Not so much. Not lately, for sure.
Well, in our opinion, that's a good thing, because we always wonder how these devs that are supposed to be deving all day can actually just spend all day on Twitter Spaces and stuff,
Well, we'll try and come out of hiding a little more often, but yeah, most of my days spent with the team, running over different features or bugs or future scenarios, things like that.
Well, we're going to be getting to some nitty gritty. We'll get down to kind of some roles or responsibilities to kick off first. But I tell you what, before we say hello to Zion, I have got a co-host and we have got a speaker as well. So Bbandz, thank you for joining. Looks like we fixed the rug.
Yep, everything sounds perfect. Good morning, everybody. Excited to listen in on this wonderful show.
Yeah, it should be a cracker. I'm really looking forward to this, mind, because we're slowly but surely becoming fully fledged lunatics over at RAC FM. Finn, welcome. This show would not be complete without you.
GM fam, what's good? Good to see Twitter got its shit together long enough for us to talk to the boss man. Looking forward to it.
Can you hear the delicacy in my voice? Oh my goodness, dude. Oof, I've had a...
You don't get very many chances, and I mean, you've already blown through a couple, so I'm glad you're dengue free, and we got the whole gang here, so lots of cool stuff.
And without further ado as well, we're being joined by Zion, the community manager as well. So hello, sir. It's a very great honor to have you here, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be on.
Yeah, I've been enjoying your writings, I've been reading quite a bit of your stuff, yeah.
Did anyone, sorry, Zion, did anybody tell Robo that comms means communication, not community? I know they're both very sought after positions. I feel like
my apologies, Finn.
Communication is...
My apologies, Zion. My apologies. And I'm saying I've been reading your stuff as well. What a plonker. Honestly, what a pleb. I tell you what, though, I don't know if there's any opening things like Finn or Bbandz or anything, but I just want to say that since I've started having a look over on Terra, I've been in IBC, well over 2 years. I always felt that, Terra was like not really engaging in like what I thought IBC was. It had, it was looking at Avalanche and at Wormhole with Solana, etc. I always felt like it was looking elsewhere, and it kind of like bridged in a bit late. But this like kind of 2.0 version or whatever you want to call it really looks to be trying to utilize like IBC in a way that I don't think we saw that with Terra before. That's like really exciting. But yeah, people like, Finn, JG, the guys at White Whale, they've all piqued my curiosity, and I'm just like, right, okay. So I've been enjoying it. We had TFM on last week. It was an absolutely great show. I think, this could be a blinder. So Finn, before I just get a little bit of background, considering I don't know that much, right? Do you want to bring up anything, you or Bbandz?
No, I think what I was more curious was to see how like a non-Terra native would approach this. So I was just going to let you flounder, but I am here if I don't see any bubbles and I think you're drowning, I will grab you and pull you back up. So you're doing good so far.
I think you should wait till he gets like to the bottom and then go check on him, all right?
Thank you very much for that. So, Jared, just for those in our audience that are not too sure, what kind of your like role within the organization?
Yeah. So my name is Jared. I'm the engineering manager here at TFL. So I work directly under our CTO and kind of make sure that the engineering portion of the org runs day to day.
So basically, like Finn said, the boss man, right?
Not quite that level, but I keep people working.
When did you first join, Jared? How long have you been with like Terra or TFL?
Are we at 2 years already? I think we're at 2 years now.
And do you mind if I ask you this question, because we had TFM on last week and it was quite important. Post crash, what motivated you to get where you are right now? Which is like, I think you're right up towards the peak of a mountain here. You're on second base camp or something here, right? Like, what gave you the motivation to like push on?
Yeah, so I started. So I left what I was doing and I started working in crypto because I feel very strongly that crypto has an opportunity to work as an opposing force towards kind of like state control and the march of AI. And I want to continue that mission. I think that the folks at TFL in general have been aligned with that goal during my time here. And that it's basically like the most important thing we can do for humanity at the moment. So I definitely don't want to stop. And I try to focus on anything that will allow for greater adoption and understanding in the crypto space.
Wow, dude. I love it when the people in charge just start talking about morals and ethics and like other stuff. Then let's just send it, or let's just make a ton of money, It's that's what you've got to look for in this industry, right?
I tried to tell you there's a reason a lot of us are still here, like after what a lot of people went through, like this team, man, they're definitely like one of my top 3 favorite people. And not just because I work there with them, like they're good peeps. And a lot of people say they're good people. And then like you see some shit go down and then you're like, oh, you were just saying that. But like when shit comes down to it, y'all aren't really that good. But like this gang, they like stuck with it, right? And they kept like, all right, how do we get through this? How do we like come back, And that's, yeah. When shit like really hits the fan, you see what people are made of. And that's what we saw with this team.
Well, I've been saying for a couple of weeks now, since I first started, obviously we set the DAO up on Enterprise, et cetera, et cetera. I got it back into my old station wallet. When you peep under the hood, there's like excessive dev work all over. And it's like, Luna went through what I went through, but was able to like, retain this like dev kind of ethic. And there's just projects, in all areas, except of crypto, right? either like being released or etc. in development. And then I look at some other places. I don't want to name other chains, but you look and you say, where's all the devs? Where's all the products? Where, like, I'm not going to mention Juno or a couple of other chains, but it's like, why have I spent so much time on a chain where literally like 3 or 4 projects have been getting developed that you can take seriously? Then you go like over on Terra and you're looking and you're like, what? It's like 50 projects or something more, probably. It's crazy, man, Finn, yeah?
That, and then you look at the project list on the other chains, it's like, oh, like 8 out of 10 of these look familiar. And that's good. I mean, we need the cross-chain narrative to continue. And it's good that people, are branching out and looking at doing things elsewhere. And then keeping in mind, how does that all work together with this like alliance framework that's being released?
Just because I do have a kind of hard cutoff today in right about 40 minutes, I might just jump right into some of the IBC stuff, if that's okay.
Oh, of course, please do, sir.
Yeah. So so along the veins of like, we've continued developing. There's continued development in IBC, and I want to maybe address some of the perception that like, I don't know, like we're not participating. I think we're one of a handful. I think what it's for. I'm looking at a list: Juno, Neutron, Osmosis, and Terra that have IBC hooks enabled right now. This particular module is going to allow us to do complex interchain transactions with single signatures. I think it's going to be some really cool tech. You could do it from a lot of different places. So like like whatever we do, as long as the chain is able to enable this module, we'll be able to they'll be able to implement the same thing. I think we'll be probably first to market in like the UI department on this, and we actually have some functioning contracts between Juno and Terra already. So as more chains adopt the IBC hooks, you'll be able to do things like have a specific token. Say you have Juno on Juno, and you want to stake Luna on Terra. You can sign a transaction without having any Terra in your wallet, or without having any Luna in your wallet, which will, in a single signature, swap, transfer, and stake. So all 3 of those things will happen in one swift movement.
You guys have got first UI as well, Jared, yeah? How far away is this from dropping?
So the only reason we didn't put it out this month is that the liquidity was really poor, frankly. And we thought that it would be a bad user experience, that this tech was really awesome, but there was nothing they could do with it. So we're maybe looking at some other use cases where maybe the liquidity can be a little lower. Maybe you can just kind of like control a transaction from one chain to the other. So maybe using like the we're calling it like the native chain or the source chain. So maybe using like a Terra or Juno wallet to control maybe a staking or send function on the other chain. Things that we won't be DEX dependent on, and then also just kind of trying to expand our relationship with DEXs and try and find out if there is anywhere. But I mean, yeah, you can just look at some of the liquidity pools. Like, what do we have? $140 million in total in liquidity on Osmosis right now. So like, yeah, some of the pools just aren't as deep as others.
I got a quick question for you. I've heard a lot of devs in the other ecos kind of comparing this to ICA and Mesh. And then I've heard you guys say that no, Alliance has a different use case to work with these. Can you like kind of explain that just a little bit for us?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, I can kind of delineate between the two. So I think there's, the thing about Alliance is it's fundamentally different than these other solutions, which are aimed at kind of purchasing security, which makes a lot of sense if for certain use cases. So like for instance, Stride just recently talked about how they're going to be integrating with ICS, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Given that they're a liquid staking derivative protocol, but Alliance is kind of aiming at kind of serving a different use case, if you will, or kind of a variety of different use cases. And this is obviously, it's an open source SDK. It's not something that like TFL, like runs, or, there's some sort of permission involved with with like integrating Alliance or kind of different things like that. So, Alliance is ultimately a tool that allows chains to kind of repurpose their staking rewards in interesting new ways. So, with like ICS and kind of mesh security, the idea there is you're kind of purchasing security from other chains, right? Like you're increasing the cost of corruption of your network in a way. And there's, different ways with ICS. Obviously, you're essentially, kind of purchasing security from the Cosmos Hub validators. So you're basically taking on the overall kind of total value of like atoms staked on Cosmos Hub, and you're allowed to kind of extrapolate that as like the cost of corruption for your chain. And mesh security is kind of this design where you are essentially like sharing market cap between two chains, right? So you're kind of like sharing security in that way. And it's kind of like, the way that Sonny describes it is kind of like NATO in that sense. Alliance is kind of just a way to, the way that I personally see it, this is obviously not speaking for anyone else, but the way that I personally see Alliance is, it's not, you're not trying to kind of purchase security using Alliance, right? You're creating these mutually beneficial economic relationships between blockchain ecosystems where they're able to kind of trade staking rewards back and forth. And there's a variety of different there's a variety of differences between Alliance and some of these other solutions, but Alliance is kind of differentiated by a couple of core components. One is like with ICS, you're basically, you don't need to run validators on like if you basically borrow the validators from Cosmos Hub in that model. With Alliance, like you have two independent sovereign chains that are deciding that they want to kind of enter into this economic relationship with each other. And obviously it's permissionless as well. So one chain could do it without the other chain's permission, but that's one core difference. And the other, I think one of the other core differences between Alliance and these other security solutions is like, historically, Cosmos chains haven't failed because they've been like 51% attacked, right? Like they're not failing because like chains are actually being hacked and then like the chain goes down or something like that. They're failing because like the chain doesn't have economic viability, essentially, right? Like, Alliance is a way to kind of basically bootstrap economic viability on these chains in interesting new ways. So you can use Alliance to basically diversify and augment the staking yield for your native chain staking asset. So instead of people that stake your token just earning, the native token, you could incorporate Alliance assets from other chains and then basically take staking rewards from them and utilize those to kind of diversify and augment the staking yield of your chain. You can also use it to incentivize people to build like essential ecosystem applications or kind of exciting new DeFi primitives, as well as you can use it to attract users and liquidity and developers from other chains by incorporating these Alliance assets from other networks, and then people kind of bridging assets over to your chain, staking them, and then also potentially bringing some of their own individual funds to the chain and utilizing some of the applications. You're rewarding these people with your tokens. So, once that chain is provided, they can then utilize that token to basically do different things on the chain, right? So you're basically creating this kind of interconnected blockchain ecosystem that hasn't really existed yet in Cosmos. Cosmos kind of, it seems kind of from the outside looking in that Cosmos is very collaborative in nature, but to date, it's kind of been somewhat siloed with different chains, kind of self-serving in a way. But I think Alliance is going to be a way to really kind of bridge that gap and start to create a more collaborative ecosystem.
Yeah, I know Jared's on a time frame today. So Alliance, I did have a good look through and looked at the estimator and stuff, right? I'm not going to say that I understood it all, but I get exactly where you're coming from. So what does this mean for like Feather, Zion? Because I noticed you were kind of saying in your writing that like smaller chains are going to be able to sort of access and leverage the liquidity and stuff on bigger chains, right? So the chains that'll be like created with Feather, they'll be able to utilize Alliance, obviously, right, to help like bootstrap them.
Yeah, so Feather is something that we haven't published. We haven't really published anything on Feather just yet. So we're kind of waiting to release details on that until we figure out a few different things. So we'll kind of leave that up to the community to discuss, and we'll share details when we're ready.
Could okay. You might not want to talk about Feather, and I do understand that. Obviously, of course, I'm going to push back on that. When I was looking at it, and I'm a big Celestia fan, been waiting a long time. Is there any way that you can kind of say like how it might be different, or is it a similar concept that they're like sovereign L2 roll-ups, or can we not talk about it?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think it'll be easier to kind of, and maybe we'll do some Twitter Spaces, once we release some details on Feather and kind of what we're, kind of what our plans are there. But kind of until that point, it's difficult to kind of compare it to some of the other existing solutions that are out there, because we haven't kind of, we kind of haven't figured out exactly what we want to do there.
That's fair. Gotta walk first, I'm curious just to hear from Zion and Jared, if we can get Jared back up. Maybe he had to go, but you've been watching what's been being built so far in the ecosystem. Like, is there anything you've seen that you're like, oh, that's new and innovative, or is it just kind of like people still trying to pick up the pieces to like continue what they were building? Were there a lot of pivots? What's like some of the stuff that you're seeing being built that you're like, oh, nice, like this gets us excited again?
Yeah, I think my connection at my Wi-Fi at my house is not great. I think, just to repeat the question that I think you said was, is it you're essentially asking like what I've been finding exciting within the Terra ecosystem that's being built?
Yeah. Out of all the, like, there's a lot of stuff getting built currently. A lot of it's like just kind of picking up pieces from previous, and then some of it is some new stuff. I was just curious, like, if you saw anything specifically that you're like, oh, this is really cool, like this is innovation here, or is it just people like rebuilding what they were building previous?
Yeah, I think there's actually, we kind of talked about this a little bit already, but lunatics are pretty resilient, and what we've seen is the core community post crash has stuck around and are continuing to build and are still focused on building this open and decentralized financial ecosystem. And you're seeing some of these interesting new developments. One of the things that isn't completely brand new, but is still something that I've really loved to see, is that after what was the marketplace called that shut down?
Nowhere.
Yeah, after Nowhere Art shut down, I have been really excited to see that Necropolis or Backbone Labs, Skeleton Punks, they've kind of picked up the torch and ran with it there in launching an NFT marketplace on Terra. I think it's an essential ecosystem application. And so I think seeing that and seeing the new developments there has been exciting. It's exciting to see that with Enterprise Protocol, there's teams like Skeleton Punks and Lion DAO taking advantage of that and showcasing how easy it is to build and launch a DAO on Terra. I'm actually going to be doing Twitter Space tomorrow with the Andromeda team, and they're going to be talking a little bit about how Andromeda is going to be launching their AOS product on Terra, which is essentially going to make it a lot easier to build a decentralized application on Terra. At least in my opinion, like that's the way that I interpret what they're building and launching. And I think, hopefully they'll be able to deploy that sometime this year. You combine that with Enterprise, and that seems like a pretty compelling, like we're just making it easier and easier to build and launch on Terra. And if there's one thing that developers want, it's basically speed to market and ease of deployment, right? You want to kind of lower the cost for them to build and launch applications on your chain and attract users. And I think that Terra is starting to become a more and more attractive place to build and launch these sorts of applications. And with Andromeda, what they're building, it seems like it's going to further that goal. I know Neptune Finance as well, which is a money market that's building on Terra, just put up a governance proposal to leverage a community grant to audit their money market that they're planning on launching on Terra. I'm not sure about the specifics of what they're bringing to market and exactly what that's going to look like, but I'm excited about it. I know that there's already, I think we have Cavern protocol, which is already a money market live on Terra. That's kind of a fork of Anchor protocol, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see some competition kind of materialize there in the money market space on Terra. And I think overall, Terra has a lot of work to do in terms of kind of rebuilding our reputation, not just within the Cosmos ecosystem, but also just within the crypto ecosystem at large. And so I think that as we kind of do that, we'll start to see, we're kind of building infrastructure while we're doing that in parallel. But as we continue to do that, I think we're going to see more and more teams see Terra as an attractive place to build and launch applications with so many different tools at their fingertips. I mean, you obviously also have Warp Protocol to basically reduce your costs of automation of different things in your protocol. You can basically use that as kind of a decentralized automation layer for applications that are built on Terra. So overall, I think there's a lot of really exciting stuff that's being built in the Terra ecosystem. And like I said, it's certainly an uphill battle, but I think Terra is, like RAC FM was talking about, this is an ecosystem of builders, and despite the circumstances, we just continue to ship.
No follow up.
Robo.
Right, Zion. I just wanted to bring something up, if that's all right. I remembered seeing a conversation around this like last month about the need for like Terra or Terra 2, whatever we're calling it, right, to have its very own like secure stable coin yet again. So I think that at the heart of the post was trying to say that, like Terra Classic was essentially like had 4 like solid pillars, which was like UST, Luna, Anchor, and Mirror Protocol, right? And I think the thread was trying to insinuate that like at the moment there's only kind of 2. And obviously you've just mentioned like a Cavern Protocol and there's Catapult, right? So at the minute it's got Luna and, Terra 2 at its base, it's got Luna, it's got kind of Anchor 2.0 and a couple of protocols, but at its heart it's missing a secure stable coin, like equal-wide stable coin. What do you think about that?
Yeah. So in terms of, the stable coin, so was the question, what, like basically around the stable coin being on Terra, the new ecosystem?
Yeah. There's only like Solid or something really, isn't there at the minute?
There's also like Axelar bridged USDC and USDT. But yeah, I think.
But is that secure though? Is that secure? I think the argument was about, you can, but it's not secure. It's bridged assets yet again.
Yeah, I think Cosmos is going to get native USDC sometime soon, and hopefully we'll be able to bring that to Terra. Obviously, the Terra ecosystem was kind of built on the idea and kind of the importance of decentralized money. And so obviously, we no longer have algorithmic stablecoins as part of the ecosystem, so we're running with what, stablecoins exist within the Cosmos ecosystem now, which are those ones that I mentioned, and obviously Solid as well. My personal view is, hopefully in the future, obviously, we failed in kind of our effort to build decentralized money, with UST and the other stable coins there. But hopefully other people, and we are seeing other people take up the mantle and start to develop and basically experiment with new forms of decentralized money. I think it's an inevitability that within the crypto space, eventually someone will successfully build and scale a decentralized money. Until that time comes, Terra as an ecosystem, we kind of have to run with the options that are available to us. But I agree, getting native USDC is going to be better than a bridged stablecoin. So looking forward to hopefully getting that on Terra once it's live.
Could that be with Noble? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I thought that might be a thing. Yeah. Might be a better idea to wait off on something like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Then you spend a lot of time over on Terra, right? So what about stablecoin gripes you've gotten on?
I mean, I always like the whole idea was, a decentralized stablecoin no one could mess with. And then to kind of see everyone like turning tail back to the CBDC versions of it kind of breaks my heart. But I also understand that when you go up against governments like that, you're going to get pushed and kicked, and it puts a pretty big target on you. So I think it may be, I don't want to say better, but it may be a little bit of a more safe path for the time being, not to paint a big target until there's more info rolled out, till there's more economies using it, that sort of thing. I don't know. It's a touchy subject for sure, because it's something you need, but as soon as you build it and it gets big enough, it just gets destroyed by the powers that be, and I feel like that'll continue to happen because they don't want to give up power, right? Like that's what they do. So yeah, I don't know. I think focusing on building these things that bring chains together, bring ecosystems together, strengthen those bonds, and then be like, all right, now that this is done and we're solid here, we're stable, like let's see what else we can build and kind of see where the environment is, right? We may have AI, we may have quantum computing that kind of puts this whole thing on its head. We just don't know.
Well, I think there was a suggestion that USK could have been an alternative, right?
Yeah, there's like USK and Silk, and there's a lot of stuff getting built that could possibly be utilized at some point. But again, I think you definitely need all of these rails built first and all of this infra prop first before you go and start being like, all right, let's like pump this TVL up. We're ready.
Hey, I'm wondering, Zion, right? One of the things that made a lot of people who were like kind of non-Terra people, right? One thing that made us like sit up and pay attention was obviously looking at some of the projects who, I'm not going to use the word like left because like White Whale haven't, right? But these projects, like White Whale, like Kujira, and some of the dApps and stuff we've seen with like Backbone Labs and things. Have you been like surprised at their like general kind of like relative success over on like other chains, or did you know they were going to be like, a success or what?
Yeah, I think, we've seen a lot of Terra projects that kind of started on Terra Classic specifically, start to expand to other chains and launch products there. And I think it's exciting to see. I think that it's just great to see that a lot of this innovation and a lot of the great builders within the Terra ecosystem are still staying within the Cosmos ecosystem as a whole. And I think the Cosmos ecosystem as a whole has a great ecosystem of builders behind it. And seeing these different builders from Terra, like the ones that you mentioned and others as well, launch either their own chains. Like we've seen some projects spin out from Terra, like Prism's planning on launching their own chain, Migloo launched their own chain. You have Kujira launched their own chain. You have these different projects that got their start on Terra, going out and either launching their own chain or launching an application on other chains or launching a product on other chains. Some of them in addition to stuff that they're doing on Terra. I think it's just, it's still a net positive for the Cosmos ecosystem as a whole. If right now, they're not super concerned with, building on Terra, that's okay. Like I said, we have a lot of work to do in terms of rebuilding our reputation. And I think if we're successful in that effort, which I'm confident that we will be, over time, we'll see some of these projects, come back to Terra in some form or another.
Oh, Finn loves the Prism protocol, don't you, Finn? I was actually looking at their announcement, integrating Alliance, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy Prism from pre-crash. That was definitely one of the few projects I got into that I didn't get completely wrecked on. So I like the way they did their bootstrapping and I really like that one. So we'll see what they end up doing this time around. But to have these tools like Enterprise and stuff that an Alliance, it'll be it'll be interesting because they didn't have any of those tools back then. So
now, Zion, we're not afraid to ask the right kind of questions, or what we believe are the right kinds of questions. One of the big reasons as well that people are paying attention to Terra is that they are, a little bit pissed off with their kind of home chains and stuff, the drama and the politics and stuff that's been going on. I do look over, I mean, everyone has drama, right? But you guys look like you have a pretty smooth ship at TFL, kind of stay away from the drama and stuff. But for you guys, the organization, TFL, we all know about exactly what the setup of you guys. For the next 12, 18 months, what are the three biggest challenges that kind of, maybe not concerning you, but you're making plans for them, or you're going to preempt them or something? What do you think for Terra, the three biggest challenges moving forward?
Yeah, I think, in terms of challenges, like I said, I think the number one challenge right now is just kind of rebuilding our reputation within Cosmos and within the wider crypto community. I think there's been a lot of, we've seen a lot of stuff in the press since the DPEG. A lot of it has been, there's different allegations that are being made, and obviously I'm not going to talk to the legal stuff, but I think rebuilding our reputation is something that is important to us, and I think is going to be kind of the principal biggest challenge for us moving forward. Once we do that, there's a lot of kind of knock-on effects from that. Terra becomes a lot more appealing as a chain to kind of build on and launch on. And so this is going to be kind of the next challenge, is kind of cultivating a thriving DeFi ecosystem within Terra. But I don't think that we're going to have much of a difficult time doing that once our reputation is in order. So I would say, I mean, those are two. Trying to think of a third, maybe big challenge that we're going to be facing over the next 12 months. I don't know. I think those are kind of, two of the biggest challenges for us right now. But like I said, I mean, these are solvable problems, and it's really a matter of, from the legal side, getting some legal wins and things like that, that's going to help drive things forward for us. So we'll see how things go. But obviously, we believe that the facts are on our side, and we're working as hard as we can to rebuild that reputation.
That's nice to hear, Finn, isn't it? That's kind of the number one priority. Oh, am I getting rugged, or is it getting rugged?
Nah, you're good. You're good. Sorry. Yeah. No, my button's sticking here. I got weed on my fingers. I'm all sticky. Yeah, it has to. Otherwise, right, nobody is going to want to put any trust in that team. So obviously they got to get that rebuilt first. And I think they're definitely on their path to doing that. I mean, they've shown how many people would have just been all right, well, that blew up. I guess I'm going to do something else. This team is here trying to solve problems. It's like a puzzle, and I think once they crack that, it's going to be, I don't want to say up only, but it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, while you've got kind of pending legal issues, or you're in the process of rebuilding the reputation, like Zion says, it can't be easy to be able to hold on to your good devs, make sure that they're fairly compensated and that they're engaged in their projects and stuff, right? Must be a lot of motivational stuff. Zion comes from the top, from the management, right?
I think that the people that are working at TFL are very highly motivated and kind of purpose driven. The team is I think a world-class team of builders and also non-technical people as well. And everyone's kind of focused on the same thing, which is trying to build this more open and decentralized financial system that I think we all want. And there's a variety of different ways for us to get there. And I think, it's certainly, a situation where, we're probably up against one of the most difficult situations that you could be up against in terms of a company that's trying to build in crypto right now. But I think if we're successful in, building back the Terra ecosystem to, and basically we're successful in building the, kind of realizing the vision that we want to realize, we're going to end up in a situation where this is going to be one of the greatest stories in crypto and maybe financial history, as probably one of the greatest comebacks to ever have been made. We've essentially been fudded to death by anyone that could possibly take a shot at us. And coming back from this will almost certainly be, like I said, maybe the greatest comeback in crypto history. And I think there's a lot of people out there that don't want us to do it. And I think that we're going to prove them wrong. I think it's really just a matter of time and, continuing to build great products, build value for other ecosystems as well. I mean, a lot of what we've been doing, is building for the Cosmos ecosystem as a whole, right? A lot of the stuff we've been doing, for instance, Station is an example of this, listing, supporting these different chains on an interchain wallet like Stations, in comparison to Kepler, which charges hundreds of thousands of dollars for an integration. We've basically launched, a public good that any chain within Cosmos can get integrated on. And we've been, we've been basically doing all those integrations. I think Station now has like over 15 different integrations with different chains. Obviously Alliance, another one of these public goods that any chain within Cosmos can utilize, and most of them can benefit from, right, as well. So there's a variety of different things that we've been doing to help kind of support the overall Cosmos ecosystem. And I think that that's going to continue. I mean, we just, obviously Enterprise just announced yesterday that Enterprise is going cross-chain. This is the premier solution to DAO creation and DAO management. And it's going to be now a whole heck of a lot easier to build and launch and scale DAOs on a variety of different Cosmos chains.
Oh, I could talk about Enterprise and DAOs all day long. I talked about them for 5 hours of the week. I get wrong off Finn, I love DAOs that much. Enterprise it's a saucy little bit. The UI is insanely good. It's really weird with like DAO versus Enterprise at the moment, because DAO's got the features, but the UI is pretty much like dog shit. It blows up your phone when you try to put a prop or something or vote. And Finn's like lost 2 phones in like the last month or something on votes. And but like it has got great features. The multiple choice. In fact, all the sub DAOs. So for everything you can kind of do, it's like amazing. But Enterprise has just got that UI. If the features were there, you'd rule the market, right?
Yeah, I think the Enterprise application is only going to get better from here, right? There's a variety of different things that can be done to improve the overall experience. I mean, we have to shout out Lion DAO, honestly, for everything that they've been doing to showcase the power of Enterprise. Within that process, I mean, they've just been providing a ton of feedback on how we can improve that application. And it has led to a number of different bug fixes, as well as some discussion around feature ideas and things like that. So I think that Enterprise is only going to get better from here. And I think that it's going to be very exciting to see it go cross-chain.
If you know anything about Vlad, you'll know that like there's features coming and there's a lot of stuff in the pipeline. Like that dude is a builder. So I definitely, it seems like every time I go to Enterprise and refresh, there's like something they've fixed or some new feature added. And that is, like Zion said, that's all due, or a lot of it is due to what Lion DAO is doing. Because you need that outside perspective of people that didn't build the thing to use the thing to come up with ideas and break it, use it in a way that maybe you as the builder never really imagined or envisioned, so that you're not thinking down this line and they're trying to do it and it throws up an error. Like, yeah, that's huge as far as like data and beta testing. So yeah, nice job, Ryan Lion and the Pride. They're out there killing it.
Oh, there's no doubt in that, and I've said this like in several spaces before, right? I'm telling you, there'll be studies in MIT, case studies in MIT being done on the Lion DAO shortly, because it's like unprecedented kind of ascendant success in like such a short space of time, and what it actually did and has done and is doing. It's just like I'm a DAO guy. We've got a DAO. We're running one. We've had, nearly 50 votes or 50 proposals, etc. We've minted NFTs. We've done airdrops, but like we're like cockroaches compared to like what we're seeing over on like. It's just a marvel I've followed the entire thing, mate. It's spectacular, and what a great way to showcase enterprise. You couldn't have struck gold, Zion, any better.
I like that you're using prop. It's like TVL is used to measure like, other things. You're over here using prop amounts to measure DAOs. That's awesome. Yeah.
Sure, but I mean, we're not a pleb DAO. We are doing proper stuff. We're trying to do it, trying to turn it into a business, But yeah, man, that's been one of the biggest successes. I was going to ask, Zion, and you can tell me to piss off, no problem. When you mentioned the TFL, and I don't know this, mind, this is just my curiosity being piqued a little bit, right? Pre-crash and post-crash, were there any like major, like obviously I'm aware there's some organizational changes, but is the vast majority of like the core kind of team like still there kind of thing, or did you have to bring new people in?
No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, a lot of the core team is still at TFL. The thing is, and even for the people that left, you can't blame them. Obviously, we know that it's a difficult situation to traverse, and obviously for us to come out of. And so, I certainly don't blame any of my colleagues, for those that wanted to move on to other projects. But yeah, most of the core team is still there and very excited about what we're building now. And so hopefully we'll have a lot of exciting new announcements coming up here relatively soon. There's a lot that we're working on, and I think that the Terra community is going to be excited by hopefully most of it, if not all of it. And in the background, stuff that a lot of people might not know, we have a team at TFL that is building a lot of developer infrastructure for Terra and just making it easier for developers to build on Terra in a lot of different ways. We have Evan on the doc side of here. He's in the call, actually. He does all the documentation here at TFL. You definitely have to shout him out because he's been at TFL longer than I have. He's stuck around through this entire thing, as well as Jared, and has continued to spearhead all of the documentation, which is actually pretty industry leading. If you take a look at the Terra docs, for instance, there's a lot of stuff in there that other teams have taken a look at and have forked and basically copied exactly what we've been doing because of how great it is. And so I think, rebuilding Terra it's going to take a comprehensive effort from not just TFL, but also from all of the people that are building within the ecosystem, all of the users within the ecosystem, everyone that's part of the ecosystem, right? Like that's kind of the cool thing about Web3 is, you create these ecosystems where everyone can create value, and everyone, all of that value can kind of accrue to the participants of the network, versus in Web 2, where basically we're the product, right? The users are the product in Web 2. We create all the value, but then we don't see any of the return from that, right? So Web 3 has kind of changed things where now the users of platforms can also become the shareholders of those platforms. And they can not only create the value, but also accrue some of the value as well. So it's a pretty exciting time. And I think that the people that are involved in the Terra ecosystem have a bright future ahead of us. It's going to take some time and it's going to take some grit and determination, but that's something that the Terra ecosystem is not averse to, and also something that we're very familiar with, given what we were trying to build before and how ambitious that entire project and ecosystem was, and a lot of the individual projects that we're building and launching in that ecosystem as well. So I'm personally very excited about Terra's future. I think we have a bright future ahead of us. I think it's, there's certainly some challenges that we need to overcome, but they're solvable problems. And if we're able to do this, like I said, we'll have the greatest comeback in crypto history. But I just wanted to say, I think this space has been fantastic. I actually have to jump off, guys. I really appreciate you guys hosting the space and inviting us on, and everyone who joined the call as well to listen in. And this has been fantastic.
Thank you very much. And Zion, just for the audience, the reason I asked that question, right, and I already knew the answer, I just wanted the audience to hear it, right, is because I think when you're talking about rebuilding a reputation, I think people forget that what you guys did, this core team, took 2 crypto assets from an idea, from a dream, and you guys as a team, you've turned this into not only a reality, but you put those 2 crypto assets in the top 10, one of them in the top 5. And I think people are very quick to forget the kind of success that team had previously. And to bet against you guys, it, would be ridiculous, Finn, do you want anything to say before Zion drops out?
Nah, let the man go. You guys are the worst at ending spaces. The last 3 I've edited, you guys do the longest 15-minute outros. It's so funny. I love that shit. But no, thank you guys for making time for us. I know you guys are super busy, so we appreciate it. A lot of cool stuff coming down the pipeline. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
No worries. And when you launch Feather, please remember us and come back on. Okay.
Oh yeah, we'll have to get them on because RAC chain is going to have to get spun up on it at some point. So we'll need them on to show us how to do it.
First time. Rebel and them's been hanging around with us for a while. Guys, if anybody wants to just jump up and comment before we close it out, right? Feel free. But that's the first time I've spoken to proper Terra people, core people. And I will say this, mind. Wow, they're all business, aren't they? They're all business.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what you thought, because you've been going out of our comfort zone quite a bit over here at RAC FM, getting into other projects on other chains and stuff, and you've been talking to a lot of people. So I was kind of curious where the boss man and the gang kind of stack up in your level there.
Well, we didn't get to speak to Jared for long, but very nice guy. But Zion, you can feel it. That it's personal from, he's on this quest, and obviously he's the comms manager, so it's his kind of job, right? And it's just really endearing when someone's that passionate and engaged, and they've got this vision of what they want to do, and they're going to get there regardless. That's what I took away from him, really good.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, after an atom bomb drops and the radiation finally clears, and I peek my head up, and I looked around and I see people like Jared and Evan and Rebel and MB and all of these old Terra cats still around and still here. That kind of gives me a little confidence that yes, we are doing the right thing, and this is where we should be, and we're doing what we should be doing. So yeah, it's good shit. There's a lot of cats.
I was a little bit gutted we didn't get to talk about Feather, but I completely understand why. But that is there's a few projects I discovered, going through all the docs and stuff that. What is it? I can't even pronounce it. Umlet, Umlet.
Umlet. Yeah. There's a orbital command space with them, I think, from a while ago. If you go to terraspaces.org and type in Umlet, you'll find it.
Yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it? There's a few things, entropy, dude, but the alliance thing's absolutely crazy, isn't it? That's really
that, and for me, this Andromeda stuff is really interesting, because once you have an OS, and I wouldn't, and I don't know yet, I haven't dug into it. I don't know if it's how much of a traditional OS they're shooting for, but even if you have an app that acts like a dashboard that has all of this stuff in it, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they're going to implement it. I see Timmy down there giving the thumbs down. Are you not bullish on AOS, Timmy? I think we need a Solana phone competitor, and I think I think with enough big brains on it, we could be running AOS ROMs on our phones. Maybe that's not what we should be doing. I don't really know, but it sounds interesting to me. And it's better than just the same low-hanging fruit that we've been seeing.
Well, I've seen it popping up, the AOS, on a few prominent accounts. It seems to have quite a number of people talking right now.
Yeah, that's part of that concerns me. But the part of it's I know marketing has to be marketed in a certain way. So I'm gonna remain opinionless until I actually get to play with it. But yeah, either way, it's something new and different. So that's what I'm kind of happy about.
Well, I've enjoyed our nice little foray into the Lunar Eco. It's been pretty good. By the way, I will shout out your man down there, Evan. Is he still here? The docks, just next to that, like really well taken care of. Like you can tell that's a professional job for somebody, that right? Because often there's a lot of complaints about certain docks on certain things, you know, in the cosmos. Right? There's Rebel DeFi there. Knew he would be in there. There's actually a lot of docks that are fucking disgraceful considering the money that these organizations have got, yeah. And the one thing you cannot say that about Terra. I will say that, like, all the information is so easy to go and find out about.
Hey, I got a question for you real quick. Did you send me my RAC, Mr. Easter egg? Yeah, like that's right. I didn't forget about that shit. I'm like, find the Easter egg. Of course, you were going to find it. Did you like that one or not? I see you left it in. I'm surprised you left it in. Actually, I did. And I part of me was like, oh, he thinks I'm gonna just miss it because he put it at the end. So I knew exactly where to go to look for it, which was even funnier because I was like, oh shit, I was right. There it is. But yeah, it's funny. It makes my job a little more interesting, at least, because I'm like, oh shit, did I miss something? Now I do got to actually go back and listen a little better, because when you got like a bunch of spaces lined up, the last thing you want to do is like spend 2 hours going through each one, because that shit takes for fucking ever. So yeah, when I hear things like that, I'm like, fuck, I better like go through and look better. But I was like, it's Robo. He probably put that shit at the end because he don't think I'm listening. And I'm not, but that's fine. I'm going to find it. And I found it. And then I put the screenshots up to fucking prove that shit.
you see Ari laughing at the one about Crenshaw Boulevard.
Yeah. Those, I like that. That was a good interview, actually. Ari sounded like a really good cat. So I'll be interested to hear more of him on upcoming shows.
Well, I did say, like, I know it wasn't great. I think Bruce was a bit pissed off that the double header was booked, right, on that day. And I asked him to help out, right? Like, and I didn't really I should have consulted, like, with Bruce a bit more. But Ari and those guys came out of it, what I was doing when I was researching the Ledger situation. And I'm like, oh, this is hot. And I did reach out to a couple of people. But those guys, because of, like, the MBC, they really interested me. And I said, I'm going to look at the wallet and blah, blah. And I was like, oh, this is really good shit. Oh, it's fucking based out of Tel Aviv. Oh, they've got the best security software over there. The Israelis are known for it. He's been at the State Department, you know, and he's like, bang, yeah, I'll come on. And I'm like, he's like, oh, it's got to be Tuesday or Wednesday. And I'm like, fuck, right? So we had Eric in on Tuesday, that big one. So I was like, I knew Raffle with the late one. And I'm just like, well, dude, we can do this if you're up for it, you know. So luckily he came in. But Raffle, they should have been on like the week before. They were like coming to, not, they were closer to the mint, and the minting on Friday. And of course we had this show tonight. You know, you want the show we did on Tuesday and the show we did tonight. They're not shows where you're going to do a double header. Last night we got away with it, Finn. Luckily though.
It worked. It's all good. So just remind everyone to go finish minting out the WCM over on Stargaze so we can feed the rest of those doggies. I think that's really cool. And then, yeah, keep an eye on racfm.org, terraspaces.org, imaginethesmell.org. We got music coming.
Well, Bbandz is back. Bbandz has asked, but very, very quickly, I'm going to ask you a question. Did you enjoy the Rec Raffle one? Because that was hilarious, that might.
I did. Those guys seem like a pretty enjoyable group of cats. So it was a good conversation for sure.
And I only passed like Moll's like sniff test as well. When Moll was like, oh, so you're just simplifying it, yeah.
I like that you made that a thing. I heard that on like the last 3. You're like, all right, you guys passed the sniff test. Like I just picture like little raccoon, grimy ass fucking Robo like swirling around him, like sniffing him and shit, and be like, all right, boss, this one's good. Let him through.
Oh, Moll DM me, said he had good fun last night. Bbandz, welcome back. I don't know what happened there. Did you get rugged or something?
Yes, but my husband's on like the phone, so I'm trying to like be respectful and not talk too much.
Wow, normally
Twitter's also been like Twitter's been a pile of shit the last 3 days. I watched the noob, fucking Cosmos noob, that cat Brandon. I watched him try to start like 4 fucking spaces last night. He even like put that shit off for an hour. tried to start it, still fucking rugged him. I was like, man, Twitter's been just fucking up today, dog. You might want to just take that shit to like Telegram or Discord for now. But yeah, it seems like the problems were continuing this morning also, but hopefully they get their shit sorted out.
I don't understand how Elon was able to have a space with fucking 300,000 people and not rug. It's not fair. That's all I got to say. It's not fair.
Well, I mean, obviously they spin up the new servers for Elon spaces. But no, I think the only way he's going to fix this, he needs to just like keep this going while they build Twitter 2, V2, right? They need a V2, but they need to build that shit from the ground up, starting with 2023 tech, 2024 tech, not like 2000. When did they launch? 2004? Because they're building on so much legacy fucking gear that as soon as they update one little thing and like 8 other things break, it's like Jenga. So I don't know. This is another conversation for another time. But I don't think he's gonna fix it.
Also, Bbandz, I'm pretty sure his space did rug, and that is why all of Twitter was fucked yesterday and today, because they like completely overloaded the servers and backed up all the caches. And
yeah, and then
Timmy, you come up here just to argue with me? Is this where we're at right now? I don't know how to feel about this. I missed you, and this is how you approach me. I don't even know.
How you approach me. No, I just mean like I saw some tweets yesterday where people were making fun of Elon because his own space rugged, and they were like, "How do you not over allocate resources for something like this? Like, it's baffling."
Elon rolling into SpaceX, just like, all right, SpaceX, we got to shut down today. I got to direct 95% of this power to the Bird app.
Oh my God,
I'm
imagine.
Gonna run for fucking.
He shut down the Tesla charging grid nationwide just for the day to divert all the power to Twitter servers. No one can charge their car or get anywhere.
And I must have misread that. I thought he was going to run for president. I was all excited because that would probably be the first time I'd actually vote for a president worth voting for. But no, some other dude. I don't even care.
I don't even like Elon that much, and I would absolutely vote for him over any political candidate on the current landscape.
I just don't understand how people.
All right, Robo, and this spin up a non-recorded if you guys want to keep going. I got like 18 RAC FMs to edit. Thanks for joining us. I love you guys.
No worries, bro. Yeah, man, he's going to be cutting this off. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go out for a walk, so I am going to spin up a one. I'm going to spin up a one on the RAC FM account, right? Like he says, unrecorded. Let's end this shit. If anybody wants to come and have a bit of crack, you're more than welcome, folks. Bbandz, Timmy might catch us over there.
Yeah, I'll hang out there for a little bit. I like to hang out till like 10:30 my time, and then I gotta go do other shit.
Let's go shit. Let's go shit talk. See you in a bit. Bye-bye, guys.
Nice. I'm gonna tell you something. When the world starts to get really bad and these mugs out here robbing, you gonna love digital currency.
All these motherfuckers, they be running and gunning, and I'm all like, I'm sitting back just having fun in the sun, and then I'm like 1 out of 100. I'm just building abundance. The sum of everything we built are in the last 100 upsets. You're getting salty, feeling faulty. You ain't no man. I keep Robo here, grinning ear to ear, throwing up anarchy, smoking toiletries, spitting philosophies. Look at the dossier. We rack like geology. There's layers to this shit, like it's sedimentary. All these little onion peels getting torn off and buried. Imagine the smell. That shit is a vital experience. Without knowing how, you will not survive, period.
He's a fucking trip, man.
Jimmy, if you listen to this, right, you're getting absolutely fucking ripped to death, like on a spaces clip alive, you little troglodyte bastard. I hope you fucking listen, I hope you come to my house, son. I swear to God, man, I've got fucking loads of weapons and mad dogs, man. Mate, you just a little laugh, man. Go on, fuck off, man. Do one. Harmony. Me another one. Do you looking for a fucking job? You fucking idiot. You've just been fucking at the death. Fuck off.
Try to change the course of the portion philosophy. I'm just here for the corporation sponsored lobotomy. Feels like I won the lottery, like I'm ghosting this pottery. Chill, Demi, more the shit's supposed to be haunting. If it wasn't, ain't no puzzle. You would try to train your muscle, airdropping like a fatal hustle, but the pay is bustin'. Think of all the loss accrued just to pick up on the tricky custom. I figured all those sub-downs would make up for something. I guess it just goes to show the fuck do I know. At least it's quiet over here. I like my little silo. It's better than watching them fight over how to divide my time between sitting at the desk and the ride home. Devs at Mickey D's, they leeching off that Wi-Fi. Zapdos and more, they shipping more than 5 guys. Console open, waiting for the kamikaze. When the flash loans bang, they feeling like paparazzi. Snapshot motherfuckers. We got layers, meteor jawbreaker. We cracking a lot of craters, we rapping a lot of pay dirt, maxing out relators. Imagine the smell, $5 wrench to your Darth Vader.
It's really funny to us at Bbandz that everyone here is talking about blockchain attack. We know who all the validators are. We know where they live, and we're going to their house with a wrench, a big wrench, and we will attack them with the wrench, and then we will take their validator node physically and put it in a truck and drive it to China.
Right, so this is an extension of the activities you performed on BTC, right? Funding and creating these massive Bitcoin mines, putting them in caves, putting them in factories that were abandoned in the past, and also using electromagnetic pulse bombs to detonate the USA and the other country mines, right? So you're now applying this strategy to Lung in order to take over the chain, is that correct?
It's more simple. There's no EMP bomb. It's just a van of men in balaclava, and they have wrench, and they're taking the physical validators from people's houses. They are usually very fat, and they're usually in the shower with trying to wash their mice droppings off their clothes. So it's very simple. We just walk in and we take it. But if there's someone who is sitting at the computer or sleeping at the computer, we hit them with the wrench really, really hard, and then they say, "Stop, don't do that again." And we say, "That's okay. Just give us your validator node," and then they give it to us and we drive it to China.
TerraSpaces.